Will Sebastian Vettel return to Formula One racing? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to On Me Head Son. I hope you're well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for future videos. So, motor racing fans out there, do you think that Vettel, four-time world champion, who's retired now, would you think that he would come back to Formula One? But most crucially, for me, would he be any good? That's the question. Would he be any good? Now, he had an interview with Sky Sports News last week. This is before the Japanese Grand Prix. Japanese Grand Prix threw up lots of questions, let's say, in terms of who's going to run away with the championship again. Max Verstappen. Where is Lewis Hamilton? Lewis Hamilton's going to go to Ferrari next season. Is there a hole in Mercedes? Vettel says he's been having talks, friendly talks with lots of teams, lots of owners because of other things he's got going on. Not necessarily about racing. He kind of evaded the question about is he returning back to Formula One. But he says he's been talking to Mr. Toto himself. Oh, Toto. Yes, Mr. Toto at Mercedes saying, we'll see. The usual thing, deflecting, not really committing to an answer. And I don't blame him, right? I don't think he should tell all and say, hey, listen, these are definitely my plans. But whoever he comes back to, right? He's been out of the game, a couple of years. Whoever he comes back to, will he be any good? Will he be competitive? Now, we see this in motor racing quite a lot. Not necessarily just in Formula One, but in other forms of motor racing, motorcycle racing as well. You get a racer who might swap teams, right? They swap team and then all of a sudden they're just not at that level anymore. We know teams fluctuate over a period of years. You can't always be on top. You might be on top for about 6-7 years, let's say, and then the other teams catch up, and then somebody comes along, a new racer comes along, a new driver, a new rider, whatever it is in terms of motorcycling, and all of a sudden they take over. You have a GOAT for many years like Valentino Rossi, like Michael Schumacher, and then all of a sudden somebody else comes along and they take over the mantle, Marc Marquez or whatever, Sebastian Vettel, right? Whoever it is, Fernando Alonso, whatever it is. But there's always a changing of the guard. But you can have a driver or a rider, let's say, go from one team to another, and all of a sudden they just fail to deliver. The whole team fails to deliver. And this happens quite a lot. You have the situations where drivers or riders, they leave the sport, then they come back, and they're just never the same. They're just never the same. They never achieve those heights again. Now, you definitely have drivers and riders who've gone from one form of the sport, let's say MotoGP or Formula One, and they go into touring car racing or to Le Mans, or they go from MotoGP to World Superbikes, that kind of thing. And they dominate for a couple of years, right? They are the levels above because they come from Formula One and MotoGP. They are that good. They are elite in what they do. They go to another discipline and they just run rings around people. But then you think, well, okay, what about other drivers who've gone to something completely different, then come back? I'm thinking about Raikkonen, right? Raikkonen left to Formula One. Didn't he go off to do rally driving or something? Then he came back. He just never the same, right? So all of a sudden you think, well, if you've left, is it right that you come back? And also, could you come back and be competitive? And if you're going to come back, and Mercedes, the team to deliver that competitiveness for you, well, right now you would say, well, no, they're not. Now, is this a problem between Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton that they're not just getting on? Is Vettel the right person to go into Mercedes and bring them up as well? As a package, could they come up together? I'm not so sure. Now, I think it'd be great because I think he comes across really, really well. Vettel does. He's always, from the very first time he was at Red Bull, he came across really, really well in terms of the way he spoke to people, in terms of the way he related to people, very relatable. So he was, and also just an affable, nice guy on camera. Now, in private, who knows? But he's a family man, right? So, you'd think that all of that you've got going on in your private life, the good stuff. I'm not saying he's got any skeletons in his closet. I'm just saying it's nice, right? It's good stuff. Why would you want to take yourself out of that to go back on the road in the Formula One circus? So I'm not so sure whether Vettel, not necessarily because of his talent, but because of his lifestyle and because he's been out of the game, even so it's just such a short period, whether he can come back and be competitive. And I don't think he could be really competitive with, especially the way Mercedes are right now. That's not to say that he would even think about coming back anyway. But should he come back? 1, will he come back and will he be any kind of success? 2, and what team is he going to go with? Mercedes? Would he go with another team? I'm really just not sure. I don't think he's ever going to go back to Red Bull. I don't think there's any space from there, unless something dramatic happens there, of course. And even if he went there and Verstappen is still there, he goes as number 2 driver, for example, then I don't think it's not going to be the same dynamic, okay? Because he's going to want to be number 1. He's going to want to be the number 1 driver. I don't think that's going to happen to Red Bull. So he goes to Mercedes, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Should he come back? Will he be competitive? And which team should he go with? And if he goes with Mercedes, will he be competitive at all? I'm not so sure. I think he should stay whatever he's doing. Now, I suppose that the thing is that if he's going to do any other races in the meantime, and I think he's lined up to do Le Mans, isn't he? It really depends how he does there as well, how he comes across, how he performs. And that'll be able to gauge whether he's right in a kind of racing sense, in a performance sense, to step back towards, I'm not saying into, but towards Formula One. Then obviously he's going to go through testing, he's got to go through, all that process. If he is competitive, if he does hold the performance anymore in the modern Formula One car, because you can step out of any industry, and even if it's for a few months, you can lose a lot of time. So you have to regain it. Once you're in an industry, you roll with the changes, don't you? You move with the changes. But as soon as you step out of an industry, even let's say for 6 months, you try and come back into it, there's a big gulf in knowledge, there's a big gulf in development, because you missed out on all of that. So whether that will be a hindrance to him, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for all future videos, and I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.